2012, 10. And then 12 was again the year in which other amendments were made. The first amendment was made when we did not know much, but to come back to why amendments were made, in 1992, India actually amended its own constitution so that the local functions, local municipal functions and planning and conservation can be given to local bodies. And at that point of time, if you people recall or remember, those who are from planning, they would know very well that in 1992, 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act, they were passed. Now the functions were given to local bodies. And at the same time, this notification was issued by Agricultural Survey of India that there will be 100-meter area around national monuments will be prohibited area, and then 200 meters more after 100 meters. So in effect 300 meters will be so that way you have in urban areas, monuments are having 300 meter radius area is prohibited area. वो कहाँ गए? वेंकटेश जी के पुत्र। हाँ यार से। अच्छा you are trying to open. Okay. So in fact we have 300 meter area around the national monument. Just imagine a town which is having most important national monument in the center, and that is how it used to be. As you have seen in this morning when I was talking about Varanasi, that Gyanwadi Mosque is actually a national monument. Now denotified because this project was to be done. But then otherwise, just imagine if the law of land was applied, you had that 300 meters only, then nobody could have been able to do this project. So this 2008 amendment, 2010 amendment was done to create a national monument authority because there was so much of urban pressure, and pressure on urban areas was actually more in around monuments. So imagine if you people know the monuments in New Delhi, Haus Khas village came up at that point of time, Chirag Delhi, these kind of areas were becoming very, very congested, and that was true for any monument in the country and any urban area. We are not talking about monuments located in far off places like Hampi or Ranakpur, where there was hardly any urbanization. But so then, in fact, what was happening? The Government of India at that time they issued this notification, and after the notification was issued, but it was not made into law. Now this power was given to Director General that you can approve some activities around monuments. Now Director General is doing what? He is saying that this pressure is from Government of India, some stronger local government, or even some local councillors. Even their pressure was because it was not law, it was just a government notification. So then it took some 15 years to realize that you can't save our monuments, neither you can save monuments, nor you can save this. So then, as I was mentioning this morning, that when we woke up, we actually have woken up during when this National Urban Renewal Mission was started. And at that point of time, in 2005, it was realized that unless we change it to a law, we will not be able to save the monuments. So then the amendment of 2010 was made, and it was made into law that there will be 100-meter area as protected area and 200 further area that will be for. Okay, so that I just wanted to show you a very classic case of Thanjavur. Thanjavur has a group of monuments, any area, any kind of town like Madurai, like Varanasi, there would be one religious monument which will be focused. And here there was a huge monument called Brajeshwara temple, which is part of one temple, Chola temple. No, the town, of course, the town would be somewhere near that area. Now, after the Chola monuments were declared World Heritage, they also created a concept of 500 meter buffer. 500 meter buffer. But again, there is a fine line in this, that they never made it into law. So even WXC is a convention which countries sign, but that doesn't, they are obliged to do whatever is correct for the heritage. But they do not actually in practice can do anything if anything is happening outside 300 meter level. Because till 300 meter there is a law. But after 300 meter to 500 meter there is no law. Now that becomes a great problem. So what to do about that? Now this 500 meter run has become a norm after UNESCO sub-regional conference was held in 2022. When in 2022 this was declared that there will be buffer zones. So
takes really okay.
इसका कारण
The setting now, setting period. The need to conserve these architectural monuments. What will you list?
any monument. हिंदी जानते हैं? उर्दू भी जानते हैं? नहीं.
What happened?
These are regulatory problems. Sir, as you were asking, why to conserve? And in that, what to conserve, we have heard so much what all monuments and all. And why to conserve, I would like to tell you a small, very brief story. But it may go wrong also, but may go a little wrong and wrong. Sir, please. No, this is not important. Story is interesting.
Yeah.
In 2000, not 2000, actually 90s. In 95, I did my one of the most challenging work, 1998. And 1997, we means me and my wife started our architecture practice in Rajasthan. Now, in our practice, we were concentrating mainly on buildings, those buildings which were supposed to be, can be reused. And we were at that time I was member of advisory committee of Rajasthan government, and we have made policy for heritage hotels. And at that time heritage buildings were converted into heritage. How they will be converted, how that they will be funded, there will be TFCI, Tourism Finance Corporation of India. And in that we got a house or huge haveli, and we were invited by the owners, manager of owners, that you are invited by Baisa. Now Baisa is the female queen of a lower Ghana, and she would tell you how to do it. Okay, I said okay fine. So the manager started guiding us that please start doing the thing which sir was doing. I don't even know how to pronounce that. What was that? Amazing something. Amnesia. For me it became amnesia.
Anamnesis.
So it is a precursor of diagnosis. So we did that one. We researched and found that the building belongs to the clerk of works of Rajasthan, Jaipur project. And he was assistant to Vidyadhar ji, who have designed a town of Jaipur. Now that Brian will guide you. But we kept on doing diagnosis understanding. We did even documentation. And manager, we said that okay, you keep paying, otherwise we are practicing acting, we have to work. So this, and they will say, she will come one day and tell you all about it. You please proceed, because we are reporting them her every day. Now this Baisa, we could never meet for almost 2 months. One day I really got, me and Nachaji, really got angry with the manager and other people, those who were helping us till then, that we said, sorry, nothing doing, till you make us meet with Baisa, I'm not going to work. Okay, so then they understood that it is not like serious. After that, we told that okay, you invite her, and then only we will proceed. But she has asked, and probably before I came, the people were discussing why to conserve. Why any building should be conserved. So to answer that, I was telling them a story of my first ever project, and in that project, I was not allowed to meet, me and my assistants were not allowed to meet the owner of the place, which was a very, very old haveli, in mansion, near Jaipur, just outside Jaipur on the haveli. So this work was almost done for 2 months, and when I registered that, so then they said, okay, we will arrange for a meeting, but it will be in this building, the building which we were documenting. I said that that's what we want. Let her come here and tell that what is all to be done. So till then we were very sure why to conserve, because it is a 350 year, more than 300 year old building belonging to a Thakur who was clerk of works for a huge project of Jaipur, which was the first ever designed building in designed town in Asia. So now you can imagine the kind of work which might have undergone in that building. And the Thakur was Chomu Thakur. Now Chomu Thakur ki beti is our client. Now, what we were not knowing, that what is in her mind. What does, because how can you conserve unless you know what is the mind of stakeholders saying? And we were saying that, and they said that they want some use. And on that evening, when she came around 4 o'clock, and we both were shocked to see that whom we are meeting. So much of hype about a lady, and when we see her, she was a much timid structure sitting on a wheelchair. Fully disabled lady and below waist immobile on a wheelchair. And she comes, when you see, she has warmth on her face. She looks like her friend, and she said that this is my place where I was born. She with moving wheelchair, she took me around everywhere. This is where I used to play, this is where I was born, this is the room where my father worshipped, and this is where my mother did this. And she had all the memories flashing, and we were mesmerized and amazed to see the kind of expectation that girl really had. I mean, we were almost of similar age, but she was better than us. We were often on. But then I mentioned that, what do you want? So she said, and when she started crying, that I want a place where I have lived and was born, and here only I used to say. But there is a very famous song which she sang. Here I used to say, Panchi Banur ke firu mein azad pavan mein, and I used to go top of the terrace and wear out in the palace. You please conserve this place so that I can go and repart. Okay. So you want me to discontinue the story?
No, please continue to join.
Okay. So now this lady says that here it was that where I used to Panchi Ganu, Kefiru, Mast Gagan, Yaha, but one day when I was on that point, I fell down. And then when I fell down here, I lost sensation below waist and I became disabled. And so my aspiration is that you make this building, which is abandoned, abused, it is totally, I mean, when I found the building, I'll tell you the conversation a little bit more. I said that this looks like an abandoned, abused and totally unusable building. And then she gets angry. She said that I have not invited you architect for this purpose, that you will tell me that my building is useless. Now, by this time, this particular activity which sir was saying is almost done, but what I was not knowing is the stakeholders' aspirations. Stakeholders' aspirations are the most important thing when you are doing anything related with conservation, whether it is in urban area or it is in any area. Now, that lady, by the way, I said that, Madam, what is there which is so important for you? So that she said that if you have not understood this, then I think that conversation is ending here. And then you know how much is the cost of the land? And forecourt, backcourt, and a cinema kind of land hall which was next to it. I said that, do you know the cost of the total amount of land you have? She said, I'm Thakurai, I'm very well versed, I'm an educated person, I know this work of this. And so I said, okay then, we will construct a new building like this in a much more sophisticated way. There will be a lift, there will be many more facilities which can take you to any level, because as you are saying, you want to go and we will make the replica. At that point of time, she said, "Brother, आपने शेर सुना है? शेर गजल जो भी आप तो बड़े शौकीन हैं, आप बताइए। हमें तो प्रोजेक्ट लेने से पता है." She said that झूठ है सब, और in very angry tone. This is all lie that history repeats itself. झूठ है सब कि तारीख हमेशा अपने को दोहराती है. कोई मेरा जोशे जवानी जलाए और थोड़ा सा दोहराए बेचारी जिसने लेडी अपनी नीचे में ऐसे कोई मेरा जोशे जवानी थोड़ा सा लगाए तो and you are there, all three of us, me, my wife and she, all three of us are in tears and thinking that this is the stakeholder who wants her family back, because then she was born and she wanted. And she told in the book, I said that where will the money come from? She said, you will arrange for it. What I will give, well, I have become disabled, nobody is going to marry me. I have enough amount of jewelry. बहुत सारा सोना है. Every single piece of jewelry I will melt and give money for this. Now you can imagine, एक abandoned, abused place को हमको restore करना है. हमको ये नहीं मालूम है as professional that what is there in the minds of stakeholder. For 22 months, almost 2 months, we have been documenting, seeing everything, and we found that this Haveli doesn't have as good as something which can be done. Now this lady tells, "Look, मेरा जोश जवानी पूरा था लगा है तो आप कुछ तो करो." हमने कहा उनसे कि मैडम आप गजल आपने शुरू किया, खत्म नहीं करना. And the last line of the same ghazal is कि फूल बरसते, फूल flowers come out of even fire if the fire is lit by love and respect. फूल बरसते हैं शोरों से चाहत आग लगाए तो क्योंकि ठीक है आपको इतनी मोहब्बत है इस हवेली से, हम लोग करेंगे काम. आज वो हवेली एंड उसने ये कहा कि मेरे जैसे कि कहा कि आई विल invest every single ounce of the gold which I have, but I want lifelong learning, lifelong earning and learning. By the way, this Haveli gives her every day more than 12 lakh rupees per day today, and it was as we conserve. अब आप नाम सुनिए उसका, राज निवास पैलेस जयपुर है और सोमो हवेली है, और ये अब जो है वेलकम हेरिटेज को उन्होंने ही खुद दी है, बट शी लिव्स देयर एज बिकॉज वी आल्सो मेक इट. नाउ द इशू इज दैट डू वी एक्चुअली नो व्हाई टू कंसिडर अब ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज को when you start telling them that this is important, that is important, and then that is what our colonized powers were saying, that you guys are, be civilized. You were not civilized enough, and that you are attacking others. So then this issue comes that what drives conservation? Now, the conservation must be community driven, must be stakeholder driven, and then only can succeed. And when I said that this lady is earning so much money, but that how much she invested? She invested time, patience, and of course that whatever time with her. Some days back I came to know that she also got married. मतलब उसको परिवार भी मिला कि कोई तो दुनिया में भला आदमी आया होगा जो व्हीलचेयर बाउंड पर्सन से शादी किया, and then I came to know that it was her therapist only. But nonetheless, the life and learning both came to her by using the building as conservation. A small haveli, which was that, as I mentioned, a quarter of flat was converted into a 28-room. Okay, you know, any tourism department, any person who knows a bit of tourism, they know that it should be one full of bus. One bus full of tourists will have. So Sita took it when we completed, SITA group took it for 5 years. And I didn't ask a single penny, but then she paid lots of amount for the yes.
Sir, the question was why to conserve? I have some feelings for this question. I want to answer to this.
Yes, please.
This feeling is growing stronger with days passing on. So the feeling you just explained about the lady, some similar sort of feeling I do have for like the state of conservation, the art of conservation over here, practice over here in this state. When I was young like them, my students, I was not here. I was in some other state. I was that various So yeah, my age is just a number. So during my phase of during my study time, I mean, being a Bihari, you have a lot of negative things around you when you are in other states. If you all observe and see and feel those things, why we always keep ourselves silent? Because we don't know anything about ourselves.
Exactly. When you don't know much about yourself also, and you cannot convey it to others.
Yes.
And just to add one example, in our entire country, this pujan of Chhath was never that popular before a lot of people came forward to explain that what is the meaning of this pujan, and then it has become so popular now. Even those people who have never heard, they are also celebrating. Nobody in Bengal fasts for Karwa Chauth. Why should? Because they actually mock about it. Bengali people do not keep Karwa Chauth. But हमारे पंजाबी, यूपी and बिहारी, Madhya Pradesh, this is one of the biggest festivals. So this is how we do not even know. How many of us actually know who is Annamalai? Annamalai is कौन है? No, not the person.
Walking is in certain.
Say again. अन्नामलाई एक्सप्रेस है, अरे वाह, अन्नामलाई यूनिवर्सिटी भी है ना? लेकिन अन्नामलाई is another name of Lord Shiva. Does anybody know that? And when we hear the name called Muthuraman, we somehow think that probably some laughable name. Once again, another name of Lord Shiva. Now, these are the things which we do not know about other culture. So then we tend to think that what is to conserve and what is not to conserve. Then when I was working on another book called Cosmic Dance of Shiva, Temples of Cosmic Dance of Shiva, I came to know for the first time that Nataraja should never be called Nataraj. Nataraj pencil Nataraja. Nataraja is the king of universe, who is the king of dance, and then you can imagine. So what your point that when we do not know much about ourselves.
Now I know how grand it was. Yesterday I visited Nalanda, which is just the tip of the iceberg. And Out of that only I can.
आप लोग अपन प्लानिंग के स्टूडेंट हैं? हेलो?
Yes, sir.
Bachelor's of Architecture, first year student.
चलो. Okay. That 100 meters thing translated into this. Now protected area is the protected area is protected by AMSR, archaeological monument and sites and remains. Sites and remains are. Now that is the center, the red line is the protected area. The yellow one becomes 100 meter line, protected area. And then you have the green line. Now this is very interesting to see that Bradeshwar temple, which is Great Chola temple and World Heritage Site, almost covering in its regulated zone, almost covering the entire, some development happening around. Okay, when you, if you translate this into this town, and I was mentioning, sir, that in World Heritage property, 500 meter zone was introduced as 500 meter boundary was introduced as buffer zone for the World Heritage. Now just imagine, just see this plan. Those who might have seen or not seen, you can easily see the scale of the temple and this Bradeshwar temple and that 45 town and the moat around. This is the moat around the town. And this town was built by, किसी ने PS1 पिक्चर देखी, पोन्नियन सेल्वन, अगर नहीं देखी तो देखना, चोल किंगडम के बारे में, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग. And great Rajendra Chola has built this temple, which is here. And this whole town is Thanjavur, which is Thanjavur was the capital of Cholas, and Cholas were very powerful kings and extreme most powerful empire in South India, in South Asia, in fact, in 6th, 7th century. Now these people had their own kingdom. वहाँ जो town यहाँ पर ये buffer zone बहुत सा है. Now we have to make heritage bylaws for this, and that is how you can conserve your values of that town. Now, when we went to this town to do studio activity, again it was an academic activity, we found that there are activities being done under Smart Cities Mission. Now, under Smart Cities Mission, what do? We make infrastructure. चलो नाली बनाना है, water supply, things like that. But when you do work in buffer zone, you have to take permission from ASI people. When you make master plans, again you have to think about that. So the point here is that whose view is supposed to be taken? Is the temple authority or the authority? Temple was made by, as I mentioned, by Cholas. Now it is not a temple which is not living. It is as important a temple for you and me or for Tamils. Actually for Tamil Vaishnavas, it may not be at all important because they worship Shiva. But Tamil Shaivites, for this temple is very important. But Tamil Shaivites who follow Nataraja, again that may not be important. But then who are the people for whom it becomes important? Those who are living there. And they are actually migrated community. You know, Rajendra Chola, to upgrade the craft, he invited Brahmins from Varanasi, and they are the inhabitants of this place, and he also invited to upgrade the weaving in Kanchipuram, and this maximum Zoroastrian people, means from Gujarat, they are living there. Now, you can see near a great Shiva temple, the community is not original community. Now, are they not equal stakeholders if they are living there? So then how do we take their aspirations into account? उनसे भी तो जाकर कोई पूछे, क्या पता उनमें से भी कोई डिसेबल्ड हो जो ये अपनी जोश जवानी को दोबारा दोहराना चाहता हो, एंड क्या हो सकता है कि कोई जो लोग तंजावुर डॉल्स होते हैं केवल 1000 रुपये में मिलती है, but it's a craft which is GI tag. But and hundreds of people are working in that. They live in this area and they don't want to move. Now if you start doing your smart cities projects and you say that please move from here like as Deval Patel has done in Shiva temple, sorry, Kashi Vishwanath corridor, it will be a failure. Now the issue is, yes, Dharjawad, ऐसे ऐसे को भटकती है, इसको हिला दो तो अपने से डांस करते हैं. And this is a wonderful craft. Now, same is true for places like Khajuraho. Now, Khajuraho, it was built by Chandels. Khajuraho was built by Chandels. There, Chandel Rajput are not there. This was abandoned, discovered by British officers, and then which community started living there, nobody knows. Only some Bundelkhandi people from Panna and Chhatarpur started living there. They were actually not connected with Shiva, neither with one single temple, neither with Jain temples. So who are they not stakeholders if they are living there for 100 years? You will say, no, you are coming. There is no direct connection between them and you, because you are not Chandel. This cannot be said. Now, this used to be capital of Chandela kingdom, and there is not one Chandel who will be found here. They all are Ayodhyas. The same will be true for Kumbhakola. Now, this is another town, another great Chola temple in the World Heritage List. When we were learning about this town, again 100 meter buffer zone, protected area, 500 meters. This place is not worshipped. And what we found maximum flower sellers in this area. And those flower sellers are selling flowers for gods. But this is not a living temple. They are selling gods, flowers for the others. This area is called Dharaswaram, and Kumbhakola is north of it. And there are Sarvabhaumi temple, many Vaishnava temples. But those living temples are requiring so many flowers. But again, the question comes that whether these are stakeholders for conservation or not. Now, if you will ask them that no, please move from here because this area has come into prohibited and covered zone, it will not. But the best thing happens with this kind of designation that at least no real estate major projects can come. Now, for major projects like Vishwanath Temple, KV Corridor, you have to create a new special purpose byways. And for that, a new act, like as I mentioned, for the Khwaja Sahib Dargah, there was an act of Rajasthan State Assembly, which was passed so that there can be a corridor created. So for projects to actually come up in such areas where there are rules applying, you have to have another way of funding. And the same is having done for Kashi Vishwanath corridor and Mahalok corridor, but it has its pros and cons, and it has miserably flopped for some or many corridors. Another corridor, जो आपने सुना होगा शायद सरकनपुर वाला corridor, which is near Bhopal, and it has to be abandoned. People oppose it so much that the government said, okay, we are withdrawing from it. It is better in this way, because they were saying that once you create corridor, we all will be shifted. So these are the kind of categories of works which can. अब ये आपने जो देखा, इसमें कितने सारे लोग रिप्लेस हुए, बट ये सब लोगों की सहमति से हुआ. So then if we see that what was the most important final outcome from these kind of studies, that we should respect for nature, respect for democracy, respect for tradition, and then also do a diagnostic civic survey whether your areas have some facilities related with civic, and then of course finally understanding of forms as manifestation of social norms, identities and rituals. I say that no town, as we have seen in other smaller riverside towns, that no towns can come up without understanding of ritualistic traditions. it was whether Ayodhya or whether it was this place, practitioner, they have all come up after understanding their relationship with so I think I did not keep Ayodhya, yeah. This was the, from here, this is nowhere near Ram Janmabhoomi, but in earlier days, after the Ram Janmabhoomi model, in earlier days, the idea was that people will take water from this river front and they will travel all across the town and reach Ram Janmabhoomi. So then, probably this again, as I said, water, they all, even now they take it to and drop it in Sitakund.
What they drop?
Saryu water. Saryu is here. This is Saryu.
Water you can see is Saryu.
And then they take water from here and they will walk all through the spine of Ayodhya and go to that area where Ram Janmabhoomi is there. So then what is happening? You have to understand the roots and divide them. Chalo, I think that as sir said, I was late and I also interrupted in between. So अभी बोलिए मैडम क्या करना है? हमको कुछ इस काम करना है। अच्छा करो चलिए ये अंदर ठीक है I'll take the ये मैं उसको आना तो जहाँ से बैठे आशीषनाथ कॉरिडोर and Mahanok corridor, but it has its pros and cons and it has miserably flopped for some or many corridors. Another corridor जो आपने सुना होगा शायद सरकनपुर वाला corridor, which is near Bhopal, and it has to be abandoned. People oppose it so much that the government said, okay, we are withdrawing from it. It is better in this way because they were saying that once you create corridor, we all will be shifted. So these are the kind of categories of works which can. अब ये आपने जो देखा इसमें कितने सारे लोग रिप्लेस हुए, बट ये सब लोगों की सहमति से हुआ. तो then if we see that what was the most important final outcome from these kind of studies, that we should respect for nature, respect for democracy, respect for tradition, and then also do a diagnostic civic survey whether your areas have some facilities related with civic, and then of course finally understanding of forms as manifestation of social norms, identities and rituals. I say that no town, as we have seen in other smaller riverside towns, that no towns can come up without understanding of ritualistic traditions. It was whether Ayodhya or whether it was this place, practitioner, they have all come up after understanding their relationship with I think I did not keep Ayodhya, yeah. This was the, from here, this is nowhere near Ram Janmabhoomi, but in earlier days, after the Ram Janmabhoomi model, in earlier days the idea was that people will take water from this river front and they will travel all across the town and reach Ram Janmabhoomi. So then probably this again, as I said, water, they all, even now they take it to and drop it in Sitakund.
What they drop?
Saryu water. Saryu is here. This is Saryu.
Water you can see is Saryu.
And then they take water from here and they will walk all through the spine of Ayodhya and go to that area where Ram Janmabhoomi is there. So then what is happening? You have to understand the roots and divide them. Chalo, I think that as sir said, I was late and I also interrupted in between. So अभी बोलिए मैडम क्या करना है? हमको कुछ इस काम करना है. अच्छा करो चलिए ये अंदर ठीक है I'll take the ये मैं उसको आना तो यहाँ से मैटर
to Patna University.
Inside Patna.
Inside.
Ah. Anybody else? What is a heritage walk?
So maybe moving, like starting from one heritage destination, we will be moving to all, covering all the destinations of heritage importance. Maybe.
So this was also for that purpose only, because we have this building is also a kind of heritage though not listed. And then Patna University, Science College, Patna College building, they are all heritage buildings, more than 100 years. So they have to, the idea was to create awareness among the locals. That was the reason for heritage walk.
So you think, heritage walk, you start, you get a guided tour, you just don't walk on your own, but you get a guided tour with somebody who has an expertise in history, in architecture, in the urban structure, in whatever, and then you walk from place to place. You cover more than one, otherwise it wouldn't be a walk. And what do you think, is there a chance or possibility to establish something here? You already did one from institute to institute.
And then to a library, which is also a heritage library, Kudawaj library.
Okay. How many people took part?
About 50.
50, 50. That's quite a lot. Could you imagine to establish something like that in Ajmer?
Yes, sir.
There are plenty of historical sites.
Sir, like there is one morning musketeers group. So what we do is, generally on every Sunday, we go for a trek or something like that. But when there was World Heritage Day some time back, then they planned that we will be moving from one heritage place to other, and we will be covering around 7 or 10 heritage places, and we will be coming back to the first place only. So this way, and then the next day it was in the newspaper, and it was written that these people created awareness about keeping all the heritage places clean, and we should at least know our place where we are staying. That so many heritage places are there. So this was the purpose.
What about you? Did you ever, can you imagine a heritage walk in Patna? Most of you come from Patna?
Yes.
In the place where you come from?
Okay,
Where you come from?
So I'm originally from Mysore, but I have participated in a heritage walk that was related to old sweet shops in Kolkata. So
Wonderful.
So there are like sweet shops that are almost 200 years old and still running, and they have some unique sweets which we don't get across India. So that was related to the heritage walk.
Wonderful idea. Any other experience with something like that?
There was when George China established Kolkata, in that time there was this segregation between the whites and the browns. So there was a black town, and there was a grey town, and there was a white town. So when you go to Dalhousie area and the Fort Williams complex, that was supposed to be the white town. And so when you walk around those areas, you kind of see a distinct difference between those areas. Also, I made a project on Kolkata as part of my work. So that's how I got to know. There was a research on this, so that's how they segregated the town in that way.
I'm quite used to travel in India, so I had many heritage walks. One was in Amritsar. Amritsar is very intensive city, and they offer, the municipality offers an everyday heritage walk for free. You just have to assemble at 4 p.m. in a special place. In my case, a lady came, and unfortunately, or for me fortunately, I was the only guest. So she gave me a 1.5 hour heritage walk through Amritsar, explaining in detail the city structure of the inner part, the Golden Temple and all that was not of interest. I thought I want to see the city and experience the city of Amritsar. That's amazing. Another heritage walk in Ahmedabad, the Poles. They are frequent heritage walks. They are also, some of them are held by the municipality and are free. Others you have to pay. But it's all reasonable. And same walk I've never joined, but you can do in Delhi. In Delhi, in Old Delhi, they offer heritage walks, starting somewhere near the Red Fort and make a great round and ending at the mosque, Jama Masjid. Also, for tourists, not free, but for Indian citizens, it's free. Where else? And each and every time I had one of those heritage walks, I was really delighted because you get information from a local person who is experienced, who knows details and stories, and from Professor Kari you experience storytelling. That's an important thing. Yeah. If I'm reading my lectures, you will maybe 5% will be there. If you listen to his stories, 80% will be kept in your mind. So storytelling is a very important. Maybe 85. Maybe 85.
Zahid Nasir, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Sir, India is a nation of storytellers.
Yeah, but that's important. That's always what I'm telling my students. Listen to stories, not to facts. Yeah?
So even for tour guides, it's very important that they develop the skill of storytelling, which is very important.
And it's important, in my opinion, that it's a free offer. You can give a contribution, but it should be free. Heritage walk should be free, because even if you charge a minimum, what could you charge? 100, 200 rupees? It would reduce the number of people who join. So, and for a city, a municipality, that's nothing. They can pay for the guided tour for 2 hours, 3 hours. You can't do more than 2 hours. 2.5 hours is the max. Then the people will get tired. Yeah. But heritage walks is a very, very important way to emphasize tourism.
So what we had planned is, on every Sunday, we were going to one place, heritage place, we were seeing it, and we had 2-3 people who knew that place very nicely. So they would tell everything about that place, and then we'll come back. So for 2 months, this thing took place, so we had 8 weekends. So 8 times we went to different places. This is how we do it.
Any other idea how to promote people coming, tourism? Because if you are searching for readaptive use for an old building, you have to think about tourism, about new people coming in. So again, sorry for always repeating Ahmedabad. In this old city of Ahmedabad, there were some of those whole houses were in a state, in a condition where they could be transferred into a hotel, into a guest house. And one person, no, it was not a person, it was an organization. They took care, refurbished those houses and made guest houses out of it. And it's a high-price guest house, although it's in the old part of Ahmedabad. It's narrow, it's noisy. Maybe an outsider even finds it a bit dirty, but the house itself is absolutely stunning, perfectly done, and they charge 10,000, no, not 10,000, 1,500 rupees per night. No, not 1,000. 100 euros.
Yes,
10,000.
10,000 rupees. Starting for double room. And if you want the suite, somewhere you end up with 180 euros, means 18,000. And people from outside are willing to pay because it's a unique experience. Living in a 350-year-old house for 1 night, for 2 nights, for 3 nights. And that works. It doesn't work every day. They don't have 100% coverage. But it works on a normal way. They just need customers 2 times a week, and then it's cost effective.
So just now we were talking about heritage places. But if I talk about these days, rural tourism is growing very highly. What people want is that they want immersive experiences. So they visit places and they visit, like suppose I am a normal villager and I have my house in my village, and there we prepare, normally we prepare in the night, we prepare chulhe ki bhaji ki roti on a chula and do all this stuff. It is a normal routine work which we do. But what would happen is that if there is some tourist, he would be coming, we will also engage him, we will tell him that this is how you have to start, and then this is how you let a chulha, this is how we, so they will also try to do that. Then if we are making a bed, munch ki rassi ki ek wo banai jati khas, so they will also get involved in all that stuff. If we talk about Ajmer, there is a lot of rose plantation which takes place. So Gulkan factories are there. So people are taken to those rose ke baganon mein bhi ghumane le jate hain tourist को. So this is how they try to associate themselves with those. They play Satoliya with the rural people. So the games which are played in the villages and all, so they will, then there is Kanche and all that, they will play with the villagers. So they want an authentic experience, immersive sort of experience. So that is done. So now more and more people are coming as tourists to have an authentic experience of villages.
So regarding adaptive reuse, there is Golghar that you mentioned.
Golghar, yeah.
So it was never reused. So the government recently thought of having some kind of reuse. So they started a light and sound show within the Golghar.
From outside?
In the inside.
Inside.
So there were 25 seats, railings, and then at one end of the wall they projected the pictures, and I don't know what was going on in the sound, light and sound show. But then they stopped because there was too much reverberation inside. The sound was reflecting and reflecting from the walls. It has a curvature, so that was a problem. That was discontinued.
Then they did not design the sound in such a way, because light and sound shows are happening almost in every historic monument, and including Khajuraho, T04 Sustainable, but it was totally unsuccessful in Nalanda, and Nalanda they had tried, they had to stop.
Okay.
But Nalanda stoppage was because of insect. Taj Mahal was stopped because of insects. But other places where it is most successful is Kumbhalgarh is very successful.
In Mandu also it was good.
Mandu also it is very good, and it's also in that kind of experience where you have a mystic experience.
Well, I've just experienced it last month. I was in France, and one of the most important cathedrals in Iran, very big cathedral, they used for sound and light show, but not with the frontal lighting, with lasers. So they were storytelling on the facade of the cathedral with lasers, and lasers don't attract insects. Because they are just too short, the insects cannot hear. So this was for me the first time that I saw a laser show. A laser show on projected on a heritage
Yeah,
facade.
that was what was happening in Mandi. Sir, so what sir is saying that a laser show would not attract insects. So was it not a laser show?
No, over there actually Tajmahal people did not attempt laser show, and it was Government of India itself withdrew. So that was during Mayawati's time,
Okay.
long back. But Nalanda, I don't know whether they started laser show or not.
No, not yet. Nalanda evening time it is closed, entirely closed. It is not lit.
No.
It is not lit. We took extra hours to see all those details to find what goes inside. So after 6 o'clock it is completely closed. So even at Mandu it started at 7:30 and ended at 8. It was half an hour show, but there were about 100 people. Yeah. It was interesting. And one more point I noted in Nalanda, all the tourists takes you to the hostels area, and 2 or 3 of them they roam around and give a lot of details. But the best part lies to the temples. We found a lot of beautiful things, very different kind of brick pattern in terms of flower and jalis and all those things. Lot of details, and there is.
You did not go there?
We saw everything. We clicked photographs.
Your group was separated from us. So you clicked
We didn't
initially.
go. No, you didn't go.
We didn't go.
So you roughly saw only
In
few
the
blocks.
first few blocks.
Only few blocks. But we found all the details. Even those areas were not accessible. It was full of vegetation, and people were cleaning those vegetation, and it was in raw state. But we went everywhere in all those nooks and areas, and we saw each detail. And one more interesting part was that we had 11 hostels, na? So out of 11 hostels, hostel number 2 was outside the main entrance. It was not within the main campus area. We went there, what we found, it had stone, the bottom part of the plinth of the building was made out of stone carvings. So that was the most beautiful part, and that is different from the rest of the things. And we had lotus kind of pattern, earthen pot kind of pattern made out of bricks, special bricks. And you won't believe what kind of pictures. I have few photos in my phone, I can just show you. मैं दे सकती हूँ, मैं दिखा सकती हूँ सब लोग देखें.
So we had an interesting guided tour yesterday. He was focusing on our interests. He was not only repeating
what he had learned.
But he was really quite a smart person. And this is also important. Tourism has to be adaptive to the clients, to the tourists coming. So you can never, or if you offer a very broad variety of guided tours, then you will attract much more. So can you imagine a tour in those coming from Patna? Can you imagine a tour in Patna?
We should start from Chandra Maurya's palace.
I have some pictures of buildings. I'll just bring my camera.
But is it walkable, or do you have to take
May not be. We may confine these walks to some nearby buildings. I'll just bring. There are pictures that will be.
But in my experience, 2 hours is long, and 2.5 hours is max. 1.5 hours is the best.
People can walk for 10 minutes. 1 kilometer is 10 minutes. So 1.5 hours will be
5 kilometers with stops. With stops. So 5 kilometers.
My number itself is saved by that name.
So what are you showing yesterday? You went to which place?
This is block number 2. My photographs are still loading. So, by the time it gets loaded, I need to explain what we saw. So,
Where's number 2?
yeah, just let me explain. So we,
Yeah, this is outside.
so actually we approached the entire wings through this gate, right? And we went around from at this block, this hostel M1, and then we came outside and we saw this temple, the main temple area, T3, right? And then we went to this side. This M4 was not accessible, it was not approachable. These parts were not witnessed, and even this part we didn't see. This part we didn't see. So now I will take you through pictures. So I have just few pictures in my phone because my disk drive is already full. So I asked students to click most of the pictures. I have few of them. So what you see over here, you have stone carvings on the plinth side, and you can see these are statues of Hindu gods and goddesses, Hanuman or Shiv, and Nataraj or goddess Durga. We could not figure out who they really were, or maybe from Buddhist culture or religion, I don't know.
That's a course in its own. We can't decipher.
So I could not recognize, but few we could see that it was Krishna or Hanuman holding the mountain, something like that we could recognize. So ये stone की carvings हैं, and this is about this part, T2.
T2.
Yeah, this is exclusively only in T2.
Because it's older, or what's the reason why it's outside the structure?
I think it is the recent one. Maybe they came up with the stone carving in the later developments, and that is why the older developments are all stacked in one line, and the new one is outside the main complex. So maybe I don't know, but in my idea.
I was just thinking if it's vice versa. This was the first one, and then they started to create a regular plan or regular.
Can you show this iconography again?
Yeah. This one, sir?
Yeah. So there is one of the oldest which you identified. Anyone?
Sir,
This is video.
No, sir. This is just the photo.
No, but you are not flipping through the picture.
Yeah.
This is what zoom. It is over.
नहीं zoom नहीं करना. तो आपने बहुत सारा फोटो लिया.
Photographs.
हाँ, next 24 है ना.
Yes.
Next one.
Next one.
Next one.
Next one. Sir, this is
This is from T2.
No. This is from the other temple. This one is. Let me show you. I have little difficulty with the handling of the mouse. Now, the upcoming photographs are from these part. T14, T13 and T12. So,
हम लोग गए नहीं थे.
that's what I'm showing. मुझे क्या मिला वहाँ पे? I found lot of tweezers.
So when you stayed back, when we were having Nimbuti, then you were searching this. Okay.
So now the next photograph is from T12.
So then, did you try to know the question this sir is saying, and you yourself are saying, T2 is older or T2 is younger?
I could not get the answer, but in my idea, it is the T2 is younger. Why? Because all these, the older one are stacked and planned together in one line, straight line, and this is coming separately from the others.
Okay, so then can you concentrate on T2 only?
I don't have more photographs.
Only one picture?
No, my student have.
Okay, let us open that, whatever you have. Let me try to give my little...
Okay. Yes, sir. This
okay,
is,
stop here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and blow as much as you want. It is much younger than what we have. And this I can say, with, if somebody can bring, if you have your library, have my book. Pala.
I will buy your book.
No, you don't need to, it is in your library. I checked the catalogue and I gave it myself.
Okay. No,
That was published in 2005.
I will buy it for my personal use.
वो आप पढ़ना पहले थोड़ा पीछे जाओ। एक मिनट, stay here.
Why is it Ghana? Just explain.
Sir,
Ah.
it is very easy to explain. This, any historic structures are identified with their feet. And the Vedi, when any Vedi has Kapot Pali, Kalash, Kumbha in there, it is of Pala period, and it could have been much older if there was one more layer below this. Yeah, to disturb you. इसके नीचे, if there was another layer before, below this, because this is very clearly showing that this is Hindu iconography. Now, Pals started with Buddha, following Buddhism, and then in later part, Gopala started. Gopala was the founder of the Pala dynasty. He was from this area. This iconography is definitely Hindu iconography. It may have Tara somewhere.
Sir, just see this with the third picture.
Yeah.
Third picture shows the Tara.
Yeah, third one is one. It can be one word as another. But the idea is, you see, I am not an iconographer. I am an architect. And as an architect with little bit of history knowledge, I can say this is from this particular thing, and any Pala temples will have these pictures, and on top of them there will be this gavach. Gavach is in this shape, and this everywhere there is gavach. It is not there. If it is there inside, it is carved in stucco. Here it is carved in stone. Now, stucco means when it was burned, everything piled on this, whether this particular part was burned or not, no one knows. But as the brick shows, there can be. But Pal dynasty means it was during the time when Bhaktiyar Khilji reached. Bhaktiyar Khilji reached when last Sena ruler was ruling this part, and he beheaded the last Sena ruler, and Sena ruler near Hooghly, and he was burnt. And this Bhaktiyar Khilji himself was actually travelled till Bengal, but another stop became Hooghly. Hooghly is another town, other than river, town in Bengal. And over there he demolished another temple. He was not alone, he had his good army. Wherever they went, all these temples were destroyed, and later on he made himself comfortable at Gaur. Gaur is a town in Bengal where he established himself. Gaur and Padua became two successive capitals of Sultanate period during Punjab. And these were the people. So this, as I understand, must be much younger than your T2. Now, questions can definitely be raised that was it a Hindu town before it became Hindu, and this Buddhist?
It was a Hindu town, and then later on with the commencement of Buddhism.
Hindu town and Hindu university. University teaching Vedas, etc. But this is not true as per Mensah. He has visited this place and seen that what monastery life is, because this is a textual record written in another language in another part of the world, which cannot be, there cannot be controversy. Britishers could have written, it could have been different. But somebody whose writings were not discovered for years altogether, during entire Mughal rule, entire British rule in India, toward the end of British rule, writings of Hinsang and Fayan were discovered. They visited much earlier, but their 2 visits, 3 visits happened but Nalanda was definitely their stop, his stop for tours.
Definitely we had remains and
One thing about, you said Buddhist or Hindu, so there are alternate Buddhist and Hindu rules in India. So your Ashoka, he adopted Buddhism.
Yes.
Before that, his father
His
was
father-
10 followers because they took Jal Samadhi. They passed away by having samadhi in rivers, and like they relinquished the throne and went to the river to sit there waiting to pass away. And so they were Jains basically. And before that there was Hindu rule. Bimbisara and Rajaratsatryu, they were all Hindu rulers. And then after after Mauryans, it was Kushan period, that was again Buddhist. Kushans were Buddhist basically, all were Vamyan Buddha.
Yes, Kushan adopted Buddhism.
They adopted Buddhism. Then there was Pushyamitra. Shungas were Hindus. They were hardcore Hindus basically. Pushyamitra Shungar.
Shunga dynasty was Hindu.
So after that there was this Guptas, when they came, they again were Hindu, because that is known as the golden age of Hindu culture. That is what Gupta period is known as.
Yes.
And then Harshvardhan came after Guptas.
Yes.
So they were Buddhists again. He adopted Buddhism. During this time, Harshvardhan, Shashank was another ruler, and there was Gurjar Pratiharas in Gujarat and in these areas. So there was tripartite struggle. Shashank was a hardcore Shivite ruler. So he created several Shiva temples. So these are the
Shashank has some influence in Nalanda.
In Bengal he had influence. He ruled over Bengal basically, Shashank. Possibly some influence, but after Shashank it was a Pala. So
yes, Gopala was actually his servant. He used to be, Gopala was working under Shashank.
Okay.
From Shashank only this dynasty started. By Gopala. His name was general name Gopal, but this became by Britishers they named Pal. It's simple Gopal. Rampal, Gopal.
Even Rajgir is related with Jarasan. Jarasan ka khada.
That's how it is structure in it.
That is only natural monument there.
Let's summarize now. What is it, older or younger?
In my opinion, it is younger than what Buddhist remains we have seen.
Yes. Because this is the only temple you have the stone carvings. The rest of is having only bricks. So you can confirm that. Otherwise, it could have been found in the rest of the hostels or temples.
There were stone amlaks placed where the stone.
Yeah, there were a lot of amlaks placed.
So probably there might be stone temples at Nalanda also, which were destroyed.
And you saw the area where it was kept. It is only in that area. This part was also very close to that area. So rest the plan.
There is one more thing I would like to tell you, because when Kaningam was moving about looking for monuments, finding them, and then some kind of excavation, smaller ones they were doing. So there is a place in Lakhisarai where he excavated Noongarh. Noongarh is a place in Lakhisarai where there is a stupa and monastery both. There was once. So what Kaningam did, he excavated the central portion of the monastery for a short time. He created a shaft and pulled out materials from underneath. He dug only that deep that he found the design for the stupa, a smaller terracotta, yes, so small terracotta stupa he found. But his subordinate dug deeper and he found the Hindu temple remains inside. So that is why I am saying there was an alternate Hindu Buddhist over here.
So if you can recall this part, this is the temple. This is the temple.
T2.
Yeah, this is the temple. We just saw the in pictures, and we went straight from here to the office over here. So this whole area, this entire area is full of that stone carving and remains of that.
Yeah.
So we can conclude that this is the older part made entirely out of brick, but this part is having later works of stone carvings and temples.
And he mentioned that only 10% is excavated, so this must be full of findings.
So he said that only 10% of the area have been excavated. The rest of the area.
Go again and excavate.
So rest of the villages you can see on this part now. So he said some 19 villages.
20
20 villages are lying on the 90% of the remains.
10% that
So you may expect a lot of other findings and other remains around this part.
Also, I've been told by someone that there is Panchane river flowing nearby.
Yeah.
So the Nalanda University had a shaft from Panchane river from where cool drafts of air would enter the entire and cool the entire Nalanda University even during the hot season. So that was one of the principles of sustainable design that they followed in ancient times. So, but we could not see that. No one
But then he
showed
showed
us.
that the silt and was also found because of that Panasha river's flood.
Okay. Yes.
And then we also went through this part, these part. So when you go from here to here, you find the refinement of birds start increasing from here to here, from this block to this block. Here you find more pieces of stone column, they are still intact.
Okay.
They were raised on a platform.
I'm sure
We
that's
could
nice.
saw that.
Nothing.
If we have few pictures with us, I have asked few students to bring the pictures for us. No, they clicked only. Let me see. She had uploaded the folder.
They are uploading it.
Oh.
Are they uploading?
Yes, when I told her.
चेक करो किसके फोल्डर में है.
So, sir, if you suggest adaptive reuse for this place, what kind? Because hotels, so after all,
Well, the infrastructure around Nalanda is poor.
Okay, yes.
There are just not even less than a handful of hotels. So if you go there, you need a vehicle. Because if you want a special standard of accommodation, there's nothing in
आप upload करो
So
ना.
a battery operated vehicle, maybe the ones you find at airports.
कुछ भी नहीं
So
है.
those kinds
उसके
of
लिए आपको फोन करके बोलो अपलोड करने के लिए.
वो लोग कर रहे हैं.
ठीक है. So we can see the rest of it. Whatever.
Okay, there was a question, sir. Someone asked why those wooden planks are arranged at various places. So now I feel that it's for wheelchair-bound people, those who have to move by wheelchair for barrier-free movement. Probably those wooden planks are arranged.
Oh, that was in place of ramp.
Yes, sir.
They were just negotiating levels.
Yes, sir.
But they were in real bad shape even for able-bodied people. Wheelchair का तो बड़ा बुरा हाल होगा, फंस जाएगी.
And you can see we had, we were fighting with each other that no, these bricks have been carved. These are not carved, they have been manufactured like that. We found many of the bricks of such kind on different parts of the rest of the temples.
Yes.
So I have taken particularly those kind of bricks or different types of bricks I have collected.
Now you tell that whether they were being carved after baking or before.
Before baking only.
That's the beauty of terracotta. It can be molded before baking.
Because we already know that carving it after it is baked takes more time and effort.
No, it is useless. Because there is a temple in Chhattisgarh which is called Rajiv Lochanam Temple, Lakshman Temple, where it is said the entire temple was made by wet bricks and then it was burned.
Oh, that is strange.
Oh my.
So that it can bake. Now whether it is a Kivdanti or it's just a folklore.
So it gets shrink after baking, the size reduces. How come it get intact on the place? I mean, both structurally unstable हो जाएगा क्या?
Yes, it should be, but then they must have done part and part, not the entire thing.
Maybe.
So fortunately we have more pictures from T2. So these are Professor.
This is definitely Pala period.
Professor.
Okay,
I'm just.
The proof you found.
Yeah. So you have more.
This is what you were saying, that this was missing. That is why they are younger.
Yeah.
The upper part which is having gavash is called Kalash, and the bottom part is Kapoor Pan. Now Kumbha is missing in it because Kumbha could have been above this, which is a rounded part of plinth, which is generally found above this pool.
Okay, apart from the history, I just want to make interrupt. I'm just opening booking.com. I'm from overseas. I want to visit Nalanda. What do? I don't go to Patna and stay here and drive 2 hours back and forth. I want to stay near Nalanda. What do I find? On booking.com there are 2 hotels. Only. The one is 1,000 rupees per night, the other one is 2,000 rupees per night. The standard is accordingly. It's not a hotel, it's a kind of hostel. As a tourist from overseas paying a lot of money to come here to have a certain standard, I would not stay in one of those. So if I don't stay in one of those, the next ones are in, I don't know the name of the village, maybe I can find that, 8 kilometers from Nalanda. Yeah, south.
Rajgir has
Rajgir have a lot of places.
But the standard is still the same, 2,000 rupees per night, 1,000 rupees per night. You know what you get for 1,000 rupees.
You didn't get a lot of such kind of tourists.
So a certain tourists will come. But if you want a higher standard of people, of income also for the, you cannot provide this level. You have to provide even a. This is what they did in Rajasthan. The forts and the hotels in there, they are high priced. And they are always booked. You don't get you have no chance to find a night in the Lake Palace in Udaipur. No chance. They are booked for months. So.
Sir, actually we have a lot of hotels in Rajgir. I have seen many of them. I have visited the place.
And how's the standard?
They are good, very nice.
And how far is Rajgir?
Rajgir is only
5-7 kilometers.
5-7.
Very close.
Because that is important for tourism to have a wide range. You cannot offer just 500 rupees and 1,000 and 2,000 rupees per night. You even have to go beyond that.
Actually, in Nalanda there are no other attractions, tourist attractions apart from this Nalanda University. In Rajgir you have many. First of all, historical remains are several, and then they have created some safari, jungle safari and butterfly and bird safari and so on. And then there are this glass bridge is there for which you have to take online tickets from much before, otherwise you won't get. And then there is this ropeway from which you climb to the Shanti Stupa that has been built in the last 40-50 years.
I think all these were recent developments. Glass bridge and all this stuff.
Very new.
So, ma'am, actually for any place to be, for the purpose of attracting tourists, we need 5 things. That is, attractions should be there, whether man-made or natural attractions. Okay. Then we should have accessibility to that place. There should be accommodation. Then amenities. Normal amenities should be available. And the last one is that the tourist must have some sort of activities in which they can engage.
Apart from
unless you have a mix of all these 5, it is difficult to attract the tourists for longer duration. And even if the tourists would come, they will move away by visiting for just 5 to 6 hours.
And then there will be word of mouth publicity that this place is not so good, you don't have good accommodation, so
ma'am, then that person is not a tourist. A tourist is a person who stays at least for 24 hours minimum.
Exactly.
So for that purpose you need to elongate the stay of the duration of his stay.
Elongate the duration, that's what is required. Even for Nalanda. Then only you will have good.
So if there is no such attractions, man-made attractions can be made.
Adventure,
some things like that, which may engage the tourist in some activities.
Or rural tourism, folk art or something.
Anything can be showcased, like some local culture, dance, drama, music, something like that.
Art forms.
Sir,
Sorry.
Can you help me in identifying the patterns over here? These patterns. Sorry, my screen touch is not working as well. These pattern and these pattern, are they belong to Buddhism?
No, actually they are incomplete.
They are incomplete.
The Buddhist one you can see very clearly that they wanted to create a sculpture and stone. Yeah. They wanted to create some kind of yantra.
We found these patterns
seal
everywhere.
कोई seal encryption नहीं मतलब ऐसा कुछ seal type लगी वो
We found these
अच्छा ये
patterns
जो ऊपर वाला है वो
everywhere.
part of reconstruction.
मतलब it had circular center and then उसके around semi circular और उसके around फिर carvings कुछ इस तरह से it followed everywhere in the bricks as well.
तो ये तो बहुत बेइंसाफी है आप जो है रुक गई और
सर वहाँ जाना के लिए मुश्किल था थोड़ा. It was not barrier free.
तो फोटो तो देना मुश्किल नहीं है ना दे दो.
और वो भी डॉक्यूमेंट फॉर्म में
यहाँ की एक हेरिटेज कमेटी है सॉरी ग्रुप है उसमें दे देना मैडम
Okay,
हमको भी मिल जाएगा.
so you can have more details of the same.
हाँ looks like a lot of people have taken very good details.
But excuse me now again, I have to come back. The reason for our course is how to develop and not to discuss details. So, how to develop tourism? Rajgir, same price level, 500 rupees upwards. The most expensive one is, they call it Hotel International for 7,000 for one night.
Okay. So
But I've seen that in the, I would never book that. I would never book that. Not for
And what about Japan guest house or something there?
And there are so many Buddhist pilgrims there. Where do they stay? How do they come? They all come by bus. Where do they stay? Ranchi or?
Gaya.
both Gaya, in both Gaya and Gaya there are
And how is this? How far is it?
3 hours almost, 2 to 3 hours.
You don't do it if you are interested in the history. You can't go 3 hours Nalanda and 3 hours back. It's a 9-hour stay. You won't do it. You have to stay over there. And for that, you have to develop a concept for overnight, for a heritage walk next day, another night there, and then you may leave. But if you want people, if you want to attract people, you have to bring attractive offers to them. And lodging is an attractive thing. Heritage walk on Nalanda, we had one yesterday, but you can even extend that with a break, with a lunch, with a restaurant outside, come back, it's back and forth. This would be a good chance to develop. But what we've seen yesterday was, for me and for all of us, very interesting. But for a person who is coming just to Nalanda to experience, it was, you must offer more. We are experts in architecture. So you need somebody to be introduced in that. You need somebody who is guiding you, who is not only guiding you to Nalanda, but also giving you
guided to nearby.
nearby to show you the museum and the interaction center.
And maybe, sir, there can be shops near that Nalanda in vicinity where you can get glimpses of places which more you can visit nearby. So like if you have some place where tourist center, apart from tourist center, like souvenir shops, those souvenir shop people can only guide you to go to Bodh Gaya. They can show you some like if there is some craftsmanship articles, they can show that or showcase all that stuff. Maybe then you can be alert to go over there. Otherwise, there is no other reason.
When Sir wanted to buy a book or to see his book, nobody was in the.
And the book given to her was hidden out.
And you know, you approach that place, you arrive. We got out of the car. 5 people tried to sell rubbish postcards to us.
Yes.
My God.
And that was not authentic authentic. That was not a
And you
printed
could-
book. It was a photocopy, colored photocopy, and it was binded and it was being sold. And she was saying that it cost 120, I am giving you for 50. मैंने कहा it costed only 20 to you.
And as a visitor from other places, not only from outside India, also from inside India, that turns you off. Yeah? You have to walk through an alley of beggars and
definitely feel that you will be
and
pleased by all such people.
So this would be one of the first things I would recommend to remove. These people have to live on something, I understand that, but not hassling visitors. They should be
Pleasing to
part of the.
And moreover, there were no particular tour guides available. Only 1 or 2 tour guides we could see, witness, and others for. I just asked that person that how frequently the Bihar state is organizing the state guide that screening examination. So he himself told that last 10 years no exam took place. So authentic tour guides are not available. Who is there to tell me? If I would have not been with this group, and as a single person, if I am going and no tour guide is available to me, I would not understand anything over there.
Our tour guide said the monument is 5,000 years old. That was wrong. It is not 5,000 years old.
5,000
So I was
BC, he said 500 BC, 600 BC तक not 5,000 years old.
Okay.
2,500 years.
Yes, 2000.
तो ये कहाँ पर है ये वाले जो आप दिखा रहे हैं?
सर वो उसी में है जो this is
So small but important steps to make something attractive is to make the access to a sightseeing spot hassle-free. Yeah? Give work to those people who are standing in front, trying to sell something. They don't sell anything during the day. Because who's going to buy that? Give them a chance to really earn money with give them some work, but take them away from the entrance gate.
So one thing I would like to say that there is a place, Kompala, I don't remember the exact name, but it was a case study which I read some time back, in which the whole community came together and they offered even the small child of that community. If any visitor, if they'll see that someone outside our place is coming, they would help them to lead to the way to the monuments. Then there would be an elder child, would be like a storyteller. They would tell every place. Then the third child, who is elder to that second one, would go and showcase some articles of use to the tourists. Then the fourth one will give them, at the end somebody would offer souvenirs to them. So everybody was engaged, and then people can go to the local natives community people, their houses also they can visit, and there they would engage them in their some like preparing some local dishes or local cuisines, eating those cuisines. So that would, like, people would get engaged in that whole scenario and they'll get an immersive experience. Without that, going to such a place which would, for me as an individual, अगर मैं इस ग्रुप के साथ नहीं होती तो मेरे लिए ऐसा होता है यार कहाँ बेकार खंडरों में आ गए, उजड़ा हुआ चमन देखने से अच्छा है इसे समझ में नहीं आता।
लेकिन
बताना कि सिर्फ हिस्ट्री वालों के कुछ काम है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा और कोई मतलब का नहीं है।
Sir, we went to Kesaria. There is a beautiful stupa, half excavated only, but it's a turning point in stupa architecture.
Ma'am,
So we went
these places are interesting to you people because,
exactly.
because you can understand something and you can gather some information from such places. As a layman, for me, it was of no use.
Exactly.
If at all there is some person to guide me and tell me that this is the cultural,
background.
This is something of cultural importance, this is the significance, only then I will get interested.
Yeah, so we went to Kesaria with my family and my elder sister's son. He said, Mossy always comes to visit Stupa Pupa. And we had that Pupa And now whenever I put pictures of any historical monument, I will say, they say, okay, she's visiting Stupa. Just to make fun, because he's not interested at all. So
No,
we have to
interest.
make it interesting.
Make it
to others
interesting,
also,
make
who
people
are not-
appointed over there who can make these things interesting by telling their significance.
Yeah. And by, once again, storytelling. Storytelling
Yes.
is
Very
the
important.
answer. Yeah. Historical facts. Okay. Here, in, here, out. Storytelling. I remember so many stories from the last 2 days. Not because he was mentioning it was on 1st December 67, but because he was telling a story around the 1st December of 67. And he is naming people and actions. And this you remember. You don't remember facts. Facts are coming in here and going out there. So that's my apology. I know that my lectures were maybe maximum 10%.
I remember.
Those pictures may remain, but the other ones, the introduction, I know that they're gone. Storytelling is the thing, most important for everything in education. And education, it means also the transformation of a monument to a public monument is only through education. You have to educate people to understand, and you just get an understanding if you tell them stories. This is my belief. But, so you can tell all the facts, and you can tell this is from this period and this period. I've forgotten right now already. Yeah? But if you tell me much more about the backgrounds of those, like you did before, then I start to remember. And I need people with expertise to guide me. Our fellow yesterday was very, he was very good, but you need 2 dozen of them, 12, 14, 20 people of those, and taking small groups. Our group was too big. You should take maximum six person, because if it's more than 6, so 6 person is good. Even for heritage walks, 50 is too much. We did a heritage walk in Udaipur briefly, and they gave us earphones. The guide was 300 meters ahead, and the last one had no connection. It was a disaster.
At this point, can I include one point about heritage museums and the narrative they present? Because of my own visit to Germany, I remember 2 things vividly and very. That visit was actually for when I went for my PhD final defense. Before that, I decided to go to Stuttgart for 5 days, 7 days, and then I visited Museum of Mercedes. Now, how many of you know that Mercedes is, who owns Mercedes? Now this servant they say, but you know, this is the power of storytelling, that I all your life you hear about best car in the world is Mercedes, but then when you come to know that Mercedes is named after daughter of the owner of entire Daimler Chrysler.
Benz was the...
Then you remember, and you remember not the car, but the face of that girl. And the another thing which I recall very well, vividly, is World Heritage Site, I don't recall the name, but that was wine tourism. Wine tourism in Germany is one of the most, they attract those, and it's the best of the wines. And vineyards, when you go to these vineyards, you do not really like to come out, because you are walking, seeing this beautiful kind of these grapes, red ones, green ones, then then you realize ये जो white wine है कहाँ से बना, red wine is coming from where, and then that you realize learning about that how this taste is coming, and wine tasting is a profession which I never knew before going to this museum. Now, how do we design our heritage museums?
So even tea testing is a profession.
Tea का भी museum है.
This could have been in my hometown in Würzburg because we have a UNESCO listed castle residence, and in the underground, under the castle, the cellar is full of huge wine barrels, and what they do, they make wine tasting down there. You get in one evening 7 to 10 different levels of wine, quality levels, and it's always booked. It's always booked. I may just show you the.
Liquor taster is also profession, occupation over there.
So Kamini, you have made Supriya graduated into conservation, or Madam has brought her in?
No, not in conservation.
हाँ, लेकिन इनपुट ऑफ कॉलेज ये देखो क्या लिख रही है, एकदम डिटेल्स ऑफ पाला पीरियड.
उनका इंटरेस्ट आ गया है.
हाँ, इंटरेस्ट की तो जगह ना इनके जैसे और यंगर फैकल्टी मेंबर्स का, so that we can really.
I have done urban planning thesis in industrial pollution and then PhD in noise pollution.
So basically.
देखो अभी हमारे की बात है ना.
आगे नहीं पता Okay, this is the one you.
This is the wine cellar.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that.
Have you been there? Have you been there? You think so?
No, sir. This was not the one.
Okay.
There was a sculpture on top of the hill, and you have to go by.
Yeah. That's not in Würzburg. That's another place.
It was my brother-in-law drove me from Stuttgart, so it must have gone all the way to Frankfurt, because he was supposed to drop me to airport at Frankfurt. So
I cannot close that.
but this I mean, not maybe the same place, but these are the places where.
Oh, stop. Here you see the scenery.
Oh, this is your place.
Yeah, you can see it's a long table, 20, more than 20 meters long. And you go there, you book for one night. These are two now. And you sit there, and the professional wine producer is explaining the different tastes and qualities of the wine. It costs 4,000 rupees for one evening. You get 7 different wines and a little bit of bread.
And you must bring it out that you are staying around there.
A lot of money out of that, and it's permanently booked. Because the scenery is beautiful, the wine tasting is a once in a lifetime experience, and well, that's how it works. And it's simple. It's very simple. And it's in the cellar of a UNESCO listed building. So you need ideas. You have to develop ideas. This was the idea of a wine producer. He said, can I rent the cellar? And they gave it to him, and then he developed this idea. And you just need ideas. You need ideas for tourism, and the money they earn, they just invest in maintaining the heritage listed building. So it's interior. Maybe to show it from outside. It's a famous Baroque castle, a Baroque garden. it was destroyed during World War II, so the roof construction, everything is new, it was burned down. But a lot of the interiors is still original. Maybe I found something. Staircase, this one. Very slow. So it's a very important, that's the reason actually why it's UNESCO listed. It's a Baroque staircase. And it's the first staircase from the Baroque times north of the Alps. Baroque developed in Italy, and it came to Northern Europe around 1750, 1780. And this is one of the first really big Baroque examples we have in Germany. Very beautiful staircase. See it, even if you see the details. That's why it's UNESCO listed. It's unique, and the paintings of the ceilings you cannot see here, maybe here, is by an Italian artist. By an Italian artist, Tiepolo is his name, very famous. So that's why it's in the UNESCO. But to maintain that huge castle is a big effort, and you need ideas. You get guided tours of course, in many languages. You get guided tours in just furniture interior. You get a guided tour if you want to see the kitchen. How did a castle of that size work in those days? It only could work with a lot of stuff, a lot of people working for them, and the kitchen is marvelous. The kitchen is huge. It's not a one room, it's a whole part of the castle, which is a kitchen, furnace with everything. And they give you a guided tour just to see how they make food in this house. And the guided tour takes 1.5 hours. So somebody had the idea, let us show how people lived in this castle. Not how the king lived, but how normal people working there lived. So they converted the whole scenery in a very lively scenery now. You can book 6 or 7 different tours. Most tourists book just 2 because it takes long. It takes 1.5 hours each. And they want, if they have tasted the wine, they can't do anything else. But this is very, very, very successful. And what I wanted to transport to you to summarize what we did the last days, you need ideas. India is full of gems, full, everywhere. You can tell the history, but you have to tell stories. And you have to bring these gems into light. And unfortunately here in Bihar they are very widespread. In other places, Rajasthan, they are very dense. But if you want to bring these gems into light, then you will attract people. And not only tourists from outside, also tourists from inside. Indian people also want to see this part of their history. And they don't know. And if you tell them this was built from 1717 till 1718, then okay, that's it. You have to tell them a story. You have to tell them. The story of the Taj Mahal, everybody is listening to that. It's a beautiful building, but the story is more important than the building. Okay, I think we should. Can you find a final word?
So good from you that
final word, because I'm going to
summarize.
imagine?
Yeah, really sure. These pilgrims there, where do they stay? How do they come? They all come by bus. Where do they stay? Ranchi or?
Gaya.
Both
Gaya.
Gaya. In both Gaya and Gaya there are
And
very
how
good
is
things.
this? How far is it?
3 hours almost, 2 to 3 hours.
You don't do it. If you are interested in the history, you can't go 3 hours. 3 hours Nalanda and 3 hours back is a 9-hour stay. You won't do it. You have to stay overnight. And for that, you have to develop a concept for overnight, for a heritage walk next day, another night there, and then you may leave. But if you want to attract people, you have to bring attractive offers to them. And lodging is an attractive thing. Heritage walk on Nalanda, we had one yesterday, but you can even extend that with a break, with a lunch, with a restaurant outside, come back, it's back and forth. This would be a good chance to develop. But what we've seen yesterday was, for me and for all of us, very interesting. But for a person who is coming just to Nalanda to experience, it was, you must offer more. We are experts in architecture. So you need somebody to be introduced in that. You need somebody who is guiding you, who is not only guiding you to Nalanda, but also giving you
Guided to nearby.
nearby to show you the museum and the interaction center.
And maybe, sir, there can be shops near that Nalanda in vicinity where you can get glimpses of places which more you can visit nearby. So like if you have some
Tourist information
place where tourist center, apart from tourist center one, like souvenir shops, those souvenir shop people can only guide you to go to Bodh Gaya. They can show you some like if there is some craftsmanship articles, they can show that or showcase all that stuff. Maybe then you can be aware to go over there. Otherwise, there is no other reason.
When Sir wanted to buy a book or to see his book, nobody was in the
And the book given to her was hidden out.
And you know, you approach that place, you arrive. We got out of the car. 5 people tried to sell rubbish postcards to us.
Yes.
My God.
And that was not authentic. That was not a
And you
printed book. It was a photocopy, colored photocopy, and it was binded and it was being sold. And she was saying that it cost 120. I am giving you for 50. It costed only 20 to you.
And as a visitor from other places, not only from outside India, also from inside, that turns you off. Yeah? You have to walk through a many of banks and
definitely feel that you will be pleased by all such people.
So this would be one of the first things that I would recommend to remove. These people have to live on something, I understand that, but not hassling visitors. They should be
pleasing to
part of the.
And moreover, there were no particular tour guides available. Only 1 or 2 tour guides we could see, witness, and others I just asked that person that how frequently the Bihar state is organizing the state guide that screening examination. So he himself told that last 10 years, no exam took place. So authentic tour guides are not available. Who is there to tell me? If I would have not been with this group, and as a single person, if I am going and no tour guide is available to me, I would not understand anything over there.
Our tour guide said that the monument is 5,000 years old. That was wrong. It is not 5,000 years old.
5,000.
I was
He said 500 BC, 600 BC, not 5,000 years old.
Okay.
2,500 years.
Yes, 2000. This is some because
तो ये कहाँ पर है ये वाले जो आप दिखा रहे हो?
सर वो उसी में है जो this is
So the small but important steps to make something attractive is to make the access to a sightseeing spot hassle-free. Yeah? give work to those people who are standing in front, trying to sell something. They don't sell anything during the day. Who's going to buy that? Give them a chance to really earn money with give them some work, but take them away from the entrance gate.
So one thing I would like to say, that there is a place, Kompala, I don't remember the exact name, but it was a case study which I read some time back, in which the whole community came together and they offered, even the small child of that community, if any visitor, if they'll see that someone outside our place is coming, they would help them to lead to the way to the monuments. Then there would be an elder child, would be like a storyteller. They would tell every place. Then the third child, who is elder to that second one, would go and showcase some articles of use to the tourists. Then the fourth one will give them, at the end somebody would offer souvenirs to them. So everybody was engaged, and then people can go to the local natives community people, their houses also they can visit, and there they would engage them in their some like preparing some local dishes or local cuisines, eating those cuisines. So that would, like, people would get engaged in that whole scenario and they'll get an immersive experience. Without that, going to such a place which would, for me as an individual, अगर मैं इस ग्रुप के साथ नहीं होती तो मेरे लिए ऐसा होता है यार कहाँ बेकार खंडरों में आ गए, उजड़ा हुआ चमन देखने से अच्छा है इसे समझ में नहीं आता,
लेकिन
तो फिर लगता कि सिर्फ हिस्ट्री वालों के कुछ काम है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा और कोई मतलब का नहीं है.
Sir, we went to Kesaria. There is a beautiful stupa, half excavated only, but it's a turning point in stupa architecture.
So these places are interesting to you people because you can understand something and you can gather some information from such places. As a layman, for me, it was of no use.
Exactly.
If at all there is some person to guide me and tell me that this is the cultural
background,
this is something of cultural importance, this is the significance, only then I will get interested.
Yeah, so we went to Kesaria with my family and my elder sister's son. He said, Mosi always comes to visit Stupa Pupa. And he added that Pupa word. And now whenever I put pictures of any historical monument I visit, they say, okay, she's visiting Stupa Pupa. Just to make fun, because he's not interested at all. So we have to make it interesting.
Make people appointed over there who can make these things interesting by telling their significance.
Yeah. And by, once again, storytelling. Storytelling is the answer. Yeah. Historical facts. Okay. Here out. Storytelling. I remember so many stories from the last 2 days. Not because he was mentioning it was on 1st December 67, but because he was telling a story around the 1st December of 67. And he is naming people and actions. And this you remember. You don't remember facts. Facts are coming in here and going out there. So that's my apology. I know that my lectures were maybe maximum 10%.
No, I remember.
Those pictures may remain, but the other ones, the introduction, I know they're gone. Storytelling is the thing most important for everything in education, and education, it means also the transformation of a monument to a public monument is only through education. You have to educate people to understand, and you just get an understanding if you tell them stories. This is my belief. But so you can tell all the facts, and you can tell this is from this period and this period. I've forgotten right now already. Yeah? But if you tell me much more about the backgrounds of those, like you did before, then I start to remember. And I need people with expertise to guide me. Our fellow yesterday was very good, but you need 2 dozen of them, 12, 14, 20 people of those, and taking small groups. Our group was too big. It should take maximum six person, because if it's more than 6, so 6 person is good. Even for heritage walks, 50 is too much. We did a heritage walk in Udaipur briefly, and they gave us earphones. No. The guide was 300 meters ahead, and the last one had no connection. It was a disaster.
So at this point, can I include one point about heritage museums and the narrative they present? Because of my own visit to Germany, I remember 2 things vividly and very, that visit was actually for when I went for my PhD final defense. Before that I decided to go to Stuttgart for 7 days, and then I visited Museum of Mercedes. Now, how many of you know that Mercedes is, who owns Mercedes? Now this servant can say, but you know, this is the power of storytelling, that I all your life you hear about best car in the world is Mercedes, but then when you come to know that Mercedes is named after daughter of the owner of entire Daimler Chrysler.
Benz was the...
Then you remember, and you remember not the car, but the face of that girl. And the another thing which I recall very well, vividly, World Heritage Site, I don't recall the name, but that was wine tourism. Wine tourism in Germany is one of the most, they attract those and the best of the wines and vineyards. When you go to these vineyards, you do not really like to come out because you are walking, seeing this beautiful kind of these grapes, red ones, green ones. Then you realize your white wine and red wine is coming from where, and then that you realize learning about how this taste is coming, and wine tasting is a profession, which I never knew before going to this museum. Now, how do we design our heritage museums?
So even tea testing is a profession.
Tea museum.
This could have been in my hometown in Würzburg, because we have a UNESCO listed castle residence, and in the underground, under the castle, the cellar is full of huge wine barrels, and what they do, they make wine tasting down there. You get in one evening 7 to 10 different levels of wine, quality levels, and it's always booked. It's always booked. That may just show you the...
Liquor taster is also profession, occupation over there.
So Kamini, you have made Supriya graduated into conservation, or Madam has brought her in?
No, not in conservation.
लेकिन इनको तो ये देखो क्या देख रही हैं, एकदम डिटेल्स ऑफ पाला पीरियड।
उनका इंटरेस्ट आ गया है करवाने।
हाँ, इंटरेस्ट की तो जगह है, इनके जैसे और यंगर फैकल्टी मेंबर्स का, so that we can really.
I have done urban planning thesis in industrial pollution and then PhD in noise pollution.
So basically
देखो अभी हमारे की बात है ना।
आगे
Okay, this is the one you.
This is the wine cellar.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that.
Have you been there? Have you been there? You think so?
No, sir. This was not the one.
Okay.
There was a sculpture on top of the hill, and you have to go by.
Yeah, that's not in Würzburg. That's another place.
It was my brother-in-law drove me from Stuttgart, so it must have on the way to Frankfurt, because he was supposed to drop me to airport at Frankfurt. So,
I cannot close that.
but this is, I mean, not maybe the same place, but these are the places where.
Oh, stop. Here you see the scenery. That's good. Yeah, then you can see it's a long, more than 20 meters long. And you go there, you book for one night. And you sit there, and then the producer is explaining the different wine. It costs 4,000 rupees. You get 7 different wines and a little bit of bread.
And you are staying around there.
Of money out of that, and it's permanent. Because the scenery is, the wine tasting is an experience, and that's how it works. And it's simple. And it's in the cellar listed building. So you need ideas. You have to develop ideas. This was the he said, can I rent the cellar? And they gave it to him, and then he developed this idea. You just need ideas. You need tourism, and the money they earn invest in maintaining heritage listed building. So interior, maybe. It's a castle, a baroque garden. It was destroyed during World War II. The roof construction, everything is new. It was, but a lot is still. We have found something. Staircase. Very slow. So it's a very important, that's the UNESCO listed, it's a baroque. And it's the first step from the baroque times north of the Europe, developed in Italy. It came to northern 1750, 1780. The first really baroque example in Germany. Staircase, see the details. That's why it's UNESCO unique, and the of the ceilings you cannot see here is by T04 is so that's why it's in the to maintain that huge effort, and you need tours in, of course, you guided tours in furniture interior. You get a guided kitchen, how did of that size work? It only could work with a lot of people working for them, and the kitchen is huge. It's not a whole part of the castle, furnace with everything. They give you a guided tour just to make food in this. The tour takes 1.5 hours. Somebody had the idea that people lived in this castle, not how they, but how normal people working there. Converted the whole in a very lively scenery now. 6 or 7 different tours. Tours book just 2 because it takes long. 1.5 hours each, and if they have tasted the wine, they can do it. This is very, very, and I want to transport to you, summarize what we did the last days. You is full of gems. Everywhere. But you have to tell stories. And you have gems into light. Unfortunately, here in Bihar, they are in other places, Rajasthan. But if you bring these gems into light, attract people, and not only also tourists from inside, Indian people see this part of the history. They don't know. And if you tell them 1770 till 1780, that's it. You have to tell them. You have to tell them. The story of the Taj Mahal, everybody is listening. It's a beautiful building, but more important than the building. Okay. Can you find photos? Finally, because I'm going to summarize. Yeah.
And we need to learn to read them. And reading them in such a way that, as Sir has said, every brick tells a story. And you associate with them if you are really willing to conserve. You know, we are not conserving history of one place because it's so much associated that you are actually dealing with a lot bigger history than just confined in one place. So that should be one of our main. Before we Nalanda bricks and bricks of Bengal and bricks of Chhattisgarh, they all have many things in common. Now, with this kind of technologies which have come up, LIDAR, what Sir has shown, the very minute details can be documented. We can even know how and why, how these such mammoth buildings were made. So I think that all of us must also look at how we can bring technology in the field of conservation apart from this promoting. You see, this young lady from Ajmer is a management person, and that is why she could speak so much about management issues related with that. We all are supposed to be making heritage management plans, but then in heritage management plans we are managing the heritage also issues related with how heritage is giving you assets. As I mentioned you about that lady whose aspirations were so high, and we could give her a management plan for 25 years and she is still surviving on that income. Now that kind of foresight is necessary on part of both client as well as architect. Otherwise it will not, it will be just one-way traffic. We can just become experts. But if clients and our enlightened governments, if they are declined, then only we can proceed with our smart cities mission also. There also, and there is a successful example. And why government of India never thought about launching Hृदय 2, but then they thought about launching smart cities 1, smart cities 2, but not about Hृदय 2. Yeah, only 12 towns were worthy of Hृदय, but then probably it was failing on our part that we could convince that they all were successful examples. So, advocacy, storytelling, and this kind of love for heritage will take us forward.
Passion.
And yeah.
Passion.
The last day for sir will be moving to the sir will be with us. Our respect for you. Can we invite him?
My mobile.
उल्टा दे दिया.
In order to take the photograph, we also couldn't see that. So
Thank you, sir.
association with the department.
So, I started my lecturing career from here.
मैम यहाँ पे सामने
आप बताइए आपको कैसे
सामने मैडम